Welcome to Swami Parthasarthi's Guru Purnima lecture, Excellence of Enlightenment. Guru Purnima is an auspicious occasion where we pay our respects to the galaxy of gurus who have handed down the great truths of life over thousands of years. Before we begin the lecture, here is a short introduction on 96-year-old Swamiji.
Living is an art, a technique, a skill. But you've got to learn it and practice it. That's what the wisdom all about. Highlights in my career is discovery of the knowledge. It's deeply embedded in the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and it took quite a while to understand what they're saying. And when I understood it, how practical it is and how important it is to live these principles in life, that was the highlights. I understood and I want to give it to the world. Schools and universities provide information, knowledge, which gives you intelligence. Vedanta Academy is the only academy in the world which provides you a way to develop the intellect.
Swami Parthasarthi is one of India's best-selling authors on Vedanta, an ancient school of Indian wisdom.
He says that he knows the success, or the secret to success in the life of harmony, something that we're all searching for amid the chaos of the markets.
So you still play cricket, you still do yoga.
Swami Parthasarthi lectures globally on disciplines.
He's a mean spin bowler and even has advised the Indian cricket team.
With cricket, SportsCenter has tracked him down to discover what feeds his unwavering passion.
Mental health that creates physical fitness. Cricket is one of the few things that I do. I've been doing yoga and exercises which keeps you fit, but that will not bring about mental fitness. Mental fitness is only with the intellect. Intellect controls the mind, mind controls the body.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। Today is a very sacred day when spiritual aspirants pay homage to their gurus, the gurus that have left behind the knowledge of the self, a knowledge which has been told to us as most secretive, as royal. A kingly knowledge means the highest knowledge, the greatest knowledge, which is most secretive in the sense that nobody knows what it is. So these great masters have laid down from time immemorial. And to those great sages and saints, today we surrender in devotion. If you had followed the Bhagavad Gita, you would find that Lord Krishna, Swayam Narayana himself, the Avatara Purusha, time and again referring to the great masters, the great gurus, and he's been quoting them. Thus have we heard from our masters. So no less a person than Lord Krishna attributes the knowledge to his gurus. And when you go to the Upanishads, the Vedas, you find the gurus there who are given out the chaste knowledge of the self, the Brahma Vidya, the Atma Vidya, and they also refer to their gurus and say, thus have we heard from our masters. No great master has ever arrogated the knowledge to himself. So this stream of knowledge is flowing from we know not when. Now, as far as our history can go, it traces back to anonymity. The greatest books, the texts that are given to us containing this knowledge has no authors. We don't know who has written it, who has spoken. So that is the spirit in which the knowledge is given, and we owe that knowledge to these great masters. And today is one day that we pay our respects to them. Now, for this occasion, we've always traditionally held a talk on some subject relating to the scriptures. So today's topic has been chosen as the excellence of enlightenment. Now, what is spiritual enlightenment? It is nothing to do with a person. it is to do with a state that any person can reach. The common understanding or misunderstanding is that there are certain persons who they call as enlightened. No doubt, they may be enlightened, but it's nothing to do with the personality. It's to do with the status, their state of being. What is that state of being? Now friends, there are three states of consciousness, which I'm sure most of you know. To some of you who are not familiar. Now you learn today that there are three states of consciousness which every human being is going through. The waking state of consciousness, when you are awake just now, experiencing the waking world. And when you go to bed, you are either dreaming or in deep sleep. Deep sleep meaning dreamless sleep. So when you go into the dream, you take the position of a dreamer experiencing the dream world. And when you go into deep sleep, you take the position of a deep sleeper experiencing deep sleep, nothingness, nullity. So these are the three distinct states that each one of you, every human being goes through. The waking state of consciousness, the dream state of consciousness, and the deep sleep state of consciousness. But what we are told by these great masters, that none of these states have any credence, have any reality about them. At most you could attribute a relative reality. A relative reality is no reality. Now, what is reality? Reality is something which has existed in the past, which exists now, and which will exist in the future. This is the definition of reality. Now, whatever persists in all periods of time, past, present, and future, that is called reality. But anything that will exist now, but is not existed in the past and will not exist in the future, fails the test of reality. It is false. Now, if you take any one of these states, you will find they don't stand the test of reality. Sir, you could be a very healthy person here in the waking state, and in the dream state you could be an invalid, suffering from a terminal disease, or vice versa. A person in a terminal disease in the waking state can dream that he is hale and healthy, probably running the 400 meters in the Olympic Games. You could dream. The food that is in the stomach, if you had eaten a full meal and gone to sleep and you dream, and the dream could be that you are starving from hunger, And the food is in the stomach, not in the pantry or the refrigerator. It is in the stomach, but it doesn't help you. So what type of reality are we talking about? So whatever is in the waking state is completely nullified in the dream state, and whatever is in the dream state is completely nullified in the waking state. So too the third state. Whatever your experience in the waking dream has no meaning in the deep sleep state. So these are three distinct states that you know of, everybody here. And you are merrily, happily going through these states without understanding what they are and what it means to you. Each one goes through waking, dream, deep sleep, waking, dream, deep sleep. You know not of any other state. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, the dream, when you wake up, the dream disappears like a salt doll in the ocean. Imagine yourself under the surface of the ocean, and I immerse a salt doll. The moment the doll touches the water, the legs disappear. The stomach disappears, the face disappears. So the person who is under the water will never be able to find out what that doll is. It's a beautiful example he gives. Similarly, friends, none of you really have the memory of your experience in the dream. You may remember generally what happened, and that too, perhaps 1 in 100 dreams. But most of the dreams disappear like the dolls, salt dolls in the ocean. So therefore, why I'm mentioning that is, believe me, if you are only remember in so much detail as you remember what happened yesterday in the waking state, you are able to recount everything, remember distinctly. If you are only able to remember what happened in last night's dream, instantly you will all become Ramakrishna Paramahamsas. You don't need to go through any education, any scriptures, any masters. Instantly you will become a great philosopher. But apohanam, says Krishna in the 15th chapter, this forgetfulness, you forget it. It is so intimate an experience. Just as you are seeing the experience now, and the gods can come, Lord Krishna can come here and tell you, look here, this is an illusion that you're saying. You will say, think it over and talk to us again. Lord Krishna, Chaturbhuja Vishnu can come here and announce it, none of you will take it. You will think they are deluded. And yet, they say, this world itself is an illusory projection upon that reality. Now why I'm using the dream state is, dream state, after you wake up, you clearly understand that it is a meaningless, illusory projection. Nothing that has happened in the dream has any pith or substance. But how was it so real? But you don't remember that distinct reality that you experienced, just as you have experienced yesterday or the day before. This is the difference. So therefore, friends, you are going through these three states, and these three states are conditioned states. Conditioned states means they are not original state. And I'm fully aware that I'm talking to persons who are conditioned already. There is no way of communicating. Just as you cannot communicate to a man who is conditioned by alcohol, a person who is dead drunk, and you may see him in the streets and you want to take him home, he says, I am all right, don't touch me. Because he's conditioned. So these three states are what you know. But what you must understand, and what I'm trying to establish now, no two states are connected with each other. There is no connection. All the wealth that you earn in the waking state will not be helpful in the dream poverty. And all the wealth that you get in the dream cannot help you to service your loans here, the waking state. That's it. And now you laugh it off, and why are you talking about dream? Because you are in the waking state. But if I were to talk to you in the dream state, you will negate everything in the waking state. So they're unconnected, both of them. Now, what is this enlightenment? Enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment, is the fourth state of consciousness, which is called Turiya. Turiya means fourth, which nobody has experienced, nobody understands what it is, and nobody suspects that there is a fourth state. Now what can any master do? And you're sitting down and listening through sheer faith. This man usually doesn't speak lies. So there must be something. That vague acceptance. Now, what we are told is none of these states have any significance, have any substance. So you belong to the fourth plane of consciousness. So, when you are in the deep sleep state, you know only the deep sleep. You don't know the dream, you don't know the waking state. But when you are in the dream state, you know two things, dream and deep sleep. But when you move up to the waking state, the third state, you know the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. But you know not the fourth state, the lower state. You don't know the higher. And when you reach the fourth, you understand everything. So, spiritual enlightenment is just reaching the fourth plane of consciousness. That's all there is. So whomever you call as God, men, or realized, self-realized, so these are all synonyms, God, men. Realized souls, self-realized souls, or God-realized souls, these are all synonyms. So they're nothing special. Of course they're special in the sense they have crossed over these three states and reached the ultimate state, which is the fourth. That is spiritual enlightenment. Now friends, your mission in life is only to find out this fourth state. You have no other business here, but you are engaged in every other business except that. Alas, alas, says the Upanishad, iha ched avedi satyamasti, achedi havedi mahati vinashti. If you reach the fourth state, satyamasti, you have lived a life of satyam, truth. You got what you need to get in this world. But if you don't, mahati vinashti. Nashti means loss. Vinashti means great loss. Mahati vinashti means the greatest of great losses. See, unfortunately, we don't understand what the loss is. Otherwise, you will change your focus in life. The focus in life is today. What is your focus? Mere acquisition and enjoyment. What can I acquire? The mind is extrovert, saying, I want to get that and I want to enjoy this, I want to enjoy this. Then after enjoyment, why don't you stay put with an enjoyment? Because it's temporary. Nothing in the world can give you ultimate satisfaction. So you go on trying, you get this, and you enjoy it for a while, and then you're dissatisfied, and you want to get that, and you get that, and you enjoy it for a while, and then you neutralize. Neutralize means you get no pleasure out of it anymore. And thereafter you keep moving from object to object, to experience, and you scan the entire world, only trying to acquire. And very few people have the chance of enjoying what they're acquiring. Most people acquire for somebody else to enjoy. This is the sad state of affairs throughout the world. Mere acquisition. So the entire life, entire mission seems to be, what can I acquire, what can I enjoy? There can never be a satisfaction in acquisition. Merely acquiring the world, you can never find any peace and satisfaction in this life, which you're trying to find through acquisition. Neither can you find satisfaction, contentment, peace, which you are seeking through enjoyment. So these are the two deadly missions that you are engaged in by sheer ignorance. So these pursuits, external pursuits and enjoyments arising out of your contact with the external world produce endless agitation. Because you can never find satiation in acquisition or enjoyment. It's a law. So you will be ever agitated in life. So you must understand the mission in life. It's not that I want you to change your vision or mission. I'm nobody to tell you. All I'm saying is, you're not conscious of your own mission. What are you trying to find out? Ultimately, what you're trying to find out is a sense of satisfaction, contentment, joy, peace, happiness. These are all synonyms. They mean the same. Where are you going to find this satisfaction? And you're trying to find it through acquisition and enjoyment. As most of you know, I'm conducting a 3-year course near Lonavala in the Vedanta Academy. There are pictures outside, you can take a look at it. It's a 3-year course just to explain this mission of life. And after that, I'm through with the students, whatever they want to do. So I don't follow them. But to what extent they're able to understand, I know not. See, whether some are within the institution, some are going out. But there's no way that I can find out what is their mission in life. They could be very close to this knowledge, and yet their secret mission is to find satisfaction in the external world. Nobody has ever found that satisfaction, that satiation, that contentment. See, whatever you're doing in life, you pick up anything, whether it's a material object that you pick up or any enjoyment of the senses, it's only for your joy, pleasure, peace, satisfaction, enjoyment. This is it. A man picks up a cigarette and smokes. He finds a satisfaction. Another person consumes a sweet, he finds satisfaction. A third person goes for a walk, he finds satisfaction. Another person, variety of things you seek, objects and experiences, for what? You find comfortable, more contented, satisfied by performing that particular action or acquiring that particular object. So this goes on endlessly. That is why we say there is nobody who has been pursuing these objects or actions or enjoying whatever they're enjoying and finding complete satiation, satisfaction. Nobody. A few who claim that they are completely satisfied is just a delusion. They are confused individuals, they don't know what they're talking. So the moment anything goes wrong, and then comes the real color. So therefore, friends, you can never get satisfaction here. So what do? You keep on trying endlessly. Now what is happening is, alas, you know not. Life after life you're doing it. So you've got to have a panoramic view of what is happening. And that's what these great minds have lent us. But you don't understand. You only think my life is, now I've got children and I must educate them. And after I educate them, I've got to get them married. After I get them married, I've got to give them a position or status. And after that, give them probably some properties, live in. And that's it. That's it. You find you are pursuing this end. And nobody has ever found satisfaction in that. It is endless. So, you look at the world, what people are doing in the world, and what these great men are claiming, that there is no demand, there is no desire for anything. So you offer them anything, they do not want it. It's not just it is not just trying to impress you by saying, I don't want it. But genuinely they do not want it. There are parables and parables in the Puranas explaining, portraying such great men. So if you come and tell me, look, you acquired this and acquired that and acquired that, that is no big achievement. But if you can stand up and say, I do not want it, I do not need it. Suppose a politician, there's one politician. In fact, one of the persons, that person is in Bombay, he won't be here. Now that man asked me, what should I do to become a real good politician? Tell them I don't. You work in the field, but don't accept any position. This is only vicarious. I'm only telling you, but you want to work. Even vicariously you say, I don't want it. Immediately they'll start functioning. You must have it. But who has that courage and conviction to say, I do not want it? So anybody can acquire anything. The Gita says, Kshipram is the easiest thing to acquire. But if you get into the position and say, no thank you, I don't want it, that is something admirable, something great. So these men have reached the state where they do not need it because they have exhausted their desires. And therefore we say, that is your real position, real status. So you must try and regain your original nature. For one thing, I'm repeating, any amount of acquisition, enjoyment, you can never get satisfaction. Nobody has ever found satisfaction. And in different periods of history, great men have found satisfaction. In different periods of history, men of realization have found satisfaction and they said, I don't want anything. There is no pressure anymore to acquire or enjoy. Therefore we say that is your or human being's original nature. So I've demonstrated this for the benefit of those who have not heard it before. I'm saying it's a simple experiment or a simple example. Imagine a coil spring which is 4 feet high. This is not a coil spring, but imagine this is a coil spring, 4 feet high. Now if I compress it to 1 foot, the spring pushes my palm upwards. I release it to 2 feet. What happens? There's still pressure, but less pressure. I release it to 3 feet. Still less pressure, but still there is pressure. I release it to 4 feet. What happens? No pressure. Now I ask you, why is there no pressure at 4 feet? I push it again, there is pressure. I release it to 4 feet, there is no pressure because it has reached its original nature, original position. I bend it, there is a pressure, you can see on both my fingers. I release it, less pressure, release it, less pressure. I release it completely, there is no pressure. Why? It has reached its original nature. From the day you're born till the day you die, there is a constant pressure to acquire and enjoy. Nobody is exempt from that, except those realized souls. Therefore we say, they have reached their original state. Therefore, self-realization is your original state, not what you belong to now, waking, dream and deep sleep. It's already proved. I don't know what you understood. I proved it already. It's like when I first read the binomial theorem in my college days, the master wrote 3-4 pages. He said, this is proved. Binomial theorem. We all were blackout. You know what he proved. It took days on end, weeks on end to understand the theorem, the famous binomial theorem. So I proved it. See, that is why I prefer to have mathematics students or science students. If you read economics, politics, and come to Vedanta, I don't know what you... It's not that the politics person doesn't understand, it's you've got to think along with the master. I put it in a nutshell. that every human being is constantly demanding, desiring, and is never satisfied. Just as this spring is constantly having its pressure on the palm, is constantly pushing until it reaches 4 feet. So when those few people who have reached the state of self-realization or God-realization, none of them wanted anything. Therefore we say the self, the supreme self within you is your original nature. Not this waking, dream and deep sleep states. Now friends, I give you a few facets of that excellence. What is that state? It excels every other state. The Shastras describe as it is higher than the highest gain that you can acquire physically. What pleasure can you acquire physically? And if you think of the highest and the greatest pleasure that you can get in the world, it is much higher than that. The greatest emotion that you can experience in the world, whatever that experience is, if Rustam had recognized Saurabh and Saurabh has recognized Rustam and not fought and killed, what is that pleasure? What is that emotion? You've got to read Saurabh and Rustam. That is a picture of emotion. He says, this emotion is greater than that. Whatever knowledge that you can acquire, the greatest knowledge that you can think of in the world, it is greater than that knowledge. So, at the physical level, at the intellectual level, at the emotional level and the intellectual level, whatever pleasure or joy or happiness that you can gain, it excels them all. In fact, even this is a poor way of presenting because it is not relatively high, it is of a different kind. You all understand that it's not higher in degree, it is higher in a kind, it's a different kind. It's not a few percentage more. So, whatever you do in this world, whatever experience you gain in this world, it all converges to a point. All the pleasures and joys that you get in the world, it converges. The pleasure or joy or bliss that you get out of spiritual pursuit, it diverges, it goes into the infinite state. The one converges, the other diverges. So, a few facets I'll explain to you, which I believe you all know. What are the facets of this excellence of enlightenment? First of all, you gain the knowledge of the self, a knowledge which makes everything knowledgeable. When you say, I see something, but you may not hear. Then you go to a different experience and say, I hear. I not only see you, sir, I hear you. But there is no smelling or tasting or touching. So there are 5 different senses, you have 5 different experiences. but they're all limited to that particular experience. But what is a common factor in that is the I. I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I touch. Similarly, when you go to the level of the mind, you feel various emotions. I feel the emotions. At the intellectual level, I conceive various thoughts. Therefore, there is a common denominator that pulsates, that pervades, that permeates all experiences. I perceive, I feel, I think. Now you have a knowledge of the perception, you have a knowledge of the emotion, you have a knowledge of the ideas and ideologies, but you have no knowledge of that which perceives, feels and thinks. So the excellence is to get to the very source of knowledge. It's not the type of knowledge that you are trying to gain in this world. It is of a different kind. I ask you, do you know my name? You say, yes sir, I know your name. But the next question I ask you, do you know my father's name? No, sir, I do not know your father's name. Then I ask you, how do you say that you do not know my father's name? Sir, please, I know what I'm saying. I do not know your father's name. My name? Of course I know your name. How do you say so? And you get irritated. Sir, I know your name. Please. Now, Guru Purnima, don't irritate me. And I also know that you don't know, I don't know your father. I didn't even know that your father exists or not exists. Now why are you bothering me? I know, sir, that I know your name. I also know, sir, that I do not know your father's name. Therefore, sir, I know what I know what I do not know. That knowledge which illumines all that you know is the same knowledge which illumines all that you do not know. So you go to the very source of knowledge. And once you gain that source of knowledge, you understand that which pervades the waking, dream and deep sleep states. That consciousness with which I am conscious of the waking state is the same consciousness with which I am conscious of the dream state, is the same consciousness with which I am aware of the deep sleep. That consciousness permeates, pervades all the three states. That is the knowledge we are talking about. So the knowledge that you are seeking is of something. It is conditioned knowledges. If I were to ask you, sir, do you know what, sir? Know of what? Are you conscious of what? Are you aware of what? You can never answer that question without qualifying it, modifying it. A simple question. Are you conscious? Of what? Of the sound? Some sound at the back? Yes. So you could never answer the question without an object. So everything you're conscious is of an object, tangible or intangible. So this knowledge is the pure knowledge with which you know various things. This knowledge is the awareness with which you are aware of various things. This knowledge is the consciousness with which you are conscious of various things that you are conscious in this world. That objectless awareness, objectless consciousness, objectless knowledge is the facet of that excellence. The one facet which awakens you to that I. Who am I? When you're a little child, you said, I'm a child. When you grew up, you said, I'm a boy. Much later, I'm a youth. And now a man or woman. And 30, 40 years, I'm an old man, old woman. Now, the child is not the boy is not the youth is not the man is not the old man. All these are separate, different, and they're all linked with I am. That knowledge, which goes to the source. What is that facet? That facet which brings you to the very core of your personality. Secondly, when you gain this enlightenment, another facet of enlightenment, of that excellent status, is the universality of love. You have no more differences, no more vijigupsa. Vijigupsa means revulsion or hatred. Oh, that fellow and that woman. A person who could bring a dagger to you, you treat him differently. E tu bruti ten for Caesar, said Julius Caesar. When Brutus came with a knife to assassinate him, he could have easily taken care of the situation, but when he saw his best friend coming with a dagger to kill him, you want to kill me? Then for Caesar. E tu bruti, then for Caesar. So, no hatred, no feeling of revulsion to anybody. This is love. The love is identification. You identify with any creature for that matter. How can you hurt? How can you destroy creatures? That is because you lack this fundamental quality of your real nature. So instantly you become one with everybody. I mean, it doesn't, when I say instantly, at the time of enlightenment, but it's a long way. It's not just black and white. You gradually grow into that dimension. So how do you test yourself? You find, what is your feeling towards others? A person could harm you, could do the worst things, but you have no ill feeling because you identify with him. You look at me, you look at yourself as he would look at you. So there is no problem. So this universality of love, where there is no hatred, what is happening to you is the way that you have treated yourself is to find a preferential relationship. When you develop a preferential relationship, you start the history of attachment. What is the history of attachment? You pick up some object or being and you preferentially relate to it. I like you more than others. Automatically, I just like you. Once I pinpoint to a person, instantly I don't like the other persons. So to the extent that I direct my attention and love towards a particular person, it becomes a preferential attachment. So now most people are attached to their homes and families, and the home has become the boundary of your affection. Now friends, your home should be the center of your affection. From there it must move out to everybody. It's not by collecting one by one, Swamiji. Last week I've collected 4 or 5 fellows and I love. It's not the number of persons that you love that matters, but if you engender any feeling of hatred to one person, that determines your love. The strength of a chain is its weakest link. All the links of the chain could be solid steel, but if there is one weak link, that determines the strength of the chain. Similarly, friends, if you have a disinterest, a disregard, or lack of love for one person, that determines the quantum of love that you carry. And that determines your spiritual status. Pure knowledge, pure love. Excellence. Excellent knowledge. It excels all other knowledge. It excels all other love. And such a person of enlightenment, you find him dynamic. He is full of life. No fatigue whatsoever. Sir, it's like an object moving, a piston moving in a fully lubricated cylinder. There is no friction. There is no egocentric desires, and therefore a person is dynamic. And there is no end to this dynamism. The Upanishad says 100 years you'll live with that dynamism. Act. 100 years doesn't mean 101st year you retire. What it means is it's endless. So there is no sense of fatigue. Fatigue is only mental. I can't do this, I can't do this. So, right through your life, it could be 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. Believe me, it goes on, dynamic. Effervescing with energy and strength, for the simple reason that you don't have any friction coming from the past worries or future anxieties. And that's why you find the children have no fatigue, because they're not worried about what happened in the past. They're not anxious about what's going to happen in the future. Now you're all the time bogged down by these two fundamental disturbances, frictions, worries of the past and anxieties for the future. So a person who is enlightened excels in action, dynamic in whatever he does. So there is pure knowledge, pure love, and pure action. And thereafter, he identifies with the self and becomes a disinterested witness of everything. Never getting involved. In fact, he is everywhere. He is full of energy, action. He relates to everything, wherever he is supposed to relate. But never is he involved in anything, attached to anything. He maintains that sakshi bhav, a dispassionate passion, a disinterested interest in life. What a life. Now, it may be poetry to all of you, but you must try and understand what, because the subject is excellence. Now, excellence of enlightenment, I can't reduce it. Now, can you reduce it till little? Now, how can I reduce it? You're asking, the subject is chosen, whoever chose it. That grandeur of that excellence, as such a person, effervescing. Look at Krishna's life. All these qualities you find. And he's a sakshi, what is known as objectivity. The layman understands as objective. He's perfectly objective, doesn't take any sides. You understand? Others may understand. The interesting part is a person, enlightened person, doesn't take any sides. But others who lack that capacity assume that he's taken any side. For example, Krishna would be taken as he's supporting the Pandavas. He's not supporting the Pandavas. The others with a limited vision do not understand a spiritual objectivity in a person. And the moment you understand that, you are benefited and you grow. That's why they say, be in close touch with enlightened persons, relatively enlightened persons. This is called satsang. So you understand is dispassionate nature, a detached attachment. So you have purity in knowledge, in emotion, in action, and you identify with the self. Such a person, an enlightened person, is totally independent of the world. That is excellence. Whatever happens, the greatest sorrow, the greatest tragedy, doesn't mean a thing to him. Otherwise, you're all the time worried about. Somebody, I was just arrived this morning from Delhi. Somebody in Delhi told me that, Swamiji, I'm all the time worried. I said, what is your worry? He says, in my colony, 3 people have lost their husbands when they are between 45 and 50. I said, what is your age? 48. Do you understand? I can't understand what the logic is. 3 people in that colony have lost their husbands when the wife was between 45 and 50. So she asked me, what will happen to you? You will lose your husband before 50, that's all. Now what else can she say? She gave the data and I gave the formula. What are you? You were saying? Yes. No, I am not saying, you are telling me, in the colony, everybody loses the husband when you are 45, 50. Since you are 48, 2 more years, he has to pop up. See, you are not able to interpret it, I am interpreting, that's all this. Oh, Swamiji, I thought I'll get solace from you. What are you doing? And then the person is very intelligent. Intelligent in the sense, chicken intelligence. So chicken also has got intelligence. So he says, there must be some message in what you're saying. Yes, there is a message. What is that message? I said, listen, it is the mind that keeps teasing you all the time. Everybody suffers from it. The mind keeps on teasing. And once you are susceptible to the mind, it teases you. You have no idea. Just as a child Every child in the house, I'm talking about till they are 5, 6, they tease the parents to tears. And I go, sometimes guess, I usually ask, are there any children? I avoid, but I can't avoid, sometimes I land there. And the children are rakshasas. Tease them, because it's the weakness of the children, the parents, completely weak. Stand up, sit down, go. I don't want everything. Same thing is happening. The mind teases you. The moment you stand up and say, what do you want? Finish, it will run. The child will run. Because you got a weakness. So the mind teases you. See, at 45 he'll die, at 45 he'll die. So when I told her, look, what will happen? He'll definitely die. Oh, Swamiji, then what do you want me to do? So you got to face it. You must repeat every day. Instead of meditating, you do this meditation. My husband will die, my husband will die, my husband will die. They will not tease you anymore. Huh? There's a man from Calcutta. Everything he does twice, thrice. He will never enter the house. I didn't understand what he was saying. He enters there, then goes back and comes. Goes back and comes. Goes back and comes. Now, I didn't understand what he was saying. And then he called me to his house for a meal. And he called so many people there. It was buffet, and then he gave me a plate. Now he gave me, Swamiji, let's have dinner. I said, yes, okay, I'm also very hungry. After the lecture, he took me. And here's the plate. I take it. I thought some plate was dirty or something. Again he says, Swamiji, shall we have it now? Yes. Here. I put my hand. Third time, Swamiji, shall we have? I grabbed it. Otherwise, I'm so hungry, the fellow is going on up and down, up and down. Then he came and confessed to me everything. In the car, he goes, driver is paid double the salary because he goes up, down, up, down. With me, twice it happened. He goes there and then he reverses back and suddenly he says, driver, I didn't know he was talking to me. He got the signal. Stopped. I didn't know why he stopped, went back. Again he was going. So I didn't understand. Then when I saw this plate business, then I understood. Then he told me, this is my problem, everything. So he was, his name is Mr. Singhal. Swamiji, what do you advise? This is the state that I'm in. I said, the first advice is change your name. It's not single, it is double. First change your name, then we'll talk about everything. You know, what is your name? I'm single. Nothing you do single and you're calling yourself single. So therefore, what the mind teases, then I told that fellow what to do. You see, it's not a joke, you know. When he goes to his house, he says, my wife will be in a pool of blood. If you step now, your grandson will be in a pool of blood. And now, when it's clear, he quickly gets in. And the wife is not in a pool of blood. That he understands, if he enters, it will be a pool of blood. Now I told him, you counter-suggest. You see, the mind is teasing you. You tell the mind, yes, my son will be chopped and put in a trunk and sent to me. You say, oh, how can I say? Then you suffer. Now what can I? Believe me when I advised him, and there's no point, I know he can't do it. 2 years later, he tried. 2 years later, and it worked. And he came and told me, he came to the ashram, stayed 1 week. He said it worked. What worked? Sir, I suggested. It was very, very difficult for me. The mind that which teases you. And you should have the courage and conviction to say. So I told this person, yes, your husband will die. Swamiji, yes. Suggest. That person cannot. Chances are he'll die. No, what can I do? So independent. You be totally independent of any influence. So the plants are, the 3 types of creatures, plants, animals, man. Plants are totally dependent. Animals are also very dependent, but not as dependent as plants. A human being is designed to be independent, totally independent of the world. He alone can gain self-sufficiency. And today, a human being is worse than an animal. Totally dependent. So these are the excellence of enlightenment. And one last thing is such a person is a fountain of joy to himself and others, is most cheerful wherever he goes, like Krishna was, is full of fun and full of frolic, full of cheer. That is the excellence of enlightenment. Now, we are talking not only about the ultimate absolute enlightenment, even relatively, if you are enlightened spiritually, if you grow up in spirituality, you will develop these facets of excellence. Thank you.
On this auspicious occasion, we pay homage to the great souls who have directed us to essential being. Whatever I said, whatever you guys have recorded, the essential thing that any person should do is to find the self. Beyond your body, beyond your mind, beyond your intellect lies your essential being. Get there. Find that. Nothing else is of any consequence.
We thank Swamiji for tirelessly teaching and inspiring us with his wisdom. Guru Dakshina is an age-old tradition wherein students express gratitude for knowledge received from the teacher. Those who wish to make a contribution may use the link below. Donations support public education on higher values of life, including the residential programs at the Vedanta Academy in India. To further one's self-development, the following avenues are available. The first is the 3-year residential course at the Vedanta Academy for students between the ages of 18 and 30. The academy is also open to visitors for short stays. Regular study classes based on the books in the course, authored and commented by Swamiji, are facilitated worldwide by alumni of the Vedanta Academy and are open to all. Another powerful avenue for self-development is the e-learning program. Recordings of the academy classes by Swamiji are available online as the following e-learning courses. For further details, visit elearning.vedantaworld.org. Over 65 years, Swamiji has written 12 books and provided a comprehensive manual for life and living. The 4 books recommended to start with are, in order, The Fall of the Human Intellect, Governing Business and Relationships, The Holocaust of Attachment, and Vedanta Treatise, The Eternities. All of Swamiji's 12 books have recently been combined into a single volume entitled The Complete Works of A. Parthasarthi. The books may be ordered at vedantaworld.org or scan the QR code on the screen. To access public lectures by Swamiji and his daughter disciple Sunandaji, as well as devotional music and chanting, along with audiobooks read by Swamiji, you can download the Vedanta World app from your phone's app store. Swamiji's Ancient Wisdom for Life podcast series offers profound insights to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify. For more details, visit vedantaworld.org. Thank you for joining us today.